watching.
Subscribe.
Hey there, Space Cowboys, my name is Luke Owen and you're watching ScreenStalker. And if you're watching this video, that means you've likely just got out from seeing the latest monster mayhem movie, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, the third part of Warner Brothers' Monsterverse that also includes the 2014 Godzilla movie and Jordan Vogt-Roberts' awesome Kong Skull Island. And if you've seen the film, you might be wondering what the hell that post-credit scene is all about. Well, I have my own ideas on what it could be, what it could mean for Godzilla vs. Kong next year, and a possible third movie in Legendary's Godzilla trilogy, if you count Godzilla vs. Kong as a spin-off and not a sequel, of course. But before we get to that, make sure you subscribe to this channel, click the thumbs up, and leave a comment down below with your own theories on what the post-credit scene could mean. And this should go without saying, but we're about to jump into major spoiler territory here, like the end of the movie spoiler territory. So if you haven't seen Godzilla King of the Monsters and want to remain spoiler-free, this is your chance to make like a tree and get out of here. Don't worry, I'll wait. Now, the end of Godzilla King of the Monsters sees Dr. Serizawa sacrifice himself with a nuclear bomb to revive Godzilla following his near-death experience with the Oxygen Destroyer, and the Big G uses this whole new batch of energy to take down Ghidorah. Lots of references to the original 54 movie, 1991's Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, and the end of the Heisei-era film Godzilla vs. Destroyer in this final act. In this melee, we see Godzilla melt away two of Ghidorah's heads with an atomic blast and tear off the final one, standing tall among his Titan buddies as the true King of the Monsters. Now, I think a lot of us were expecting a post-credit sting that would set up the next movie in the franchise Godzilla vs. Kong, which will be hitting cinema screens next year from the brilliant mind of Adam Wingard, who brought us awesome delights like The Guest and You're Next. Don't hold his adaptation of Death Note against him. Instead, all of the setting up for Godzilla vs. Kong was done in the actual end credits, with newspaper clippings and websites talking about an awakening on Skull Island, the home of Kong, who's king around those parts. So the actual post-credits for Godzilla King of the Monsters takes the focus back to one of the film's lead antagonists, Jonah, played by Charles Dance. We see that he's back in Mexico, where Rodan made his first appearance in the film, and he's being taken around a facility by a man looking to sell something. But he's no longer selling fish, he's instead selling the remaining head of Ghidorah, the one that Godzilla ripped off during their final battle in Boston. Jonah says that he'll take it, and the movie ends. But what does this all mean? Well, to answer that, let's go all the way back to 1991 to a little movie called Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. And going back is a fun little segue, as it's a movie about time travel. In Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, members of the Japanese military are approached by visitors from the future called the Futurians, who believe they have a way to stop Godzilla once and for all, by erasing him from history. They do this by going back to 1944 to kill Godzilla before the atomic blast, which they successfully do. But it turns out to be a ruse by the Futurians, as they only did this to create King Ghidorah in the past to use him to destroy Japan in the present, and not have Godzilla around to stop him. Our heroes then essentially recreate Godzilla by dropping a nuclear sub on him in the present, and he and King Ghidorah fight to the death being Godzilla blasting off the middle head of Ghidorah. He then turns his attention back to what he does best, destroying Japan. And in an effort to stop him, the present-day heroes travel to the future to revive Ghidorah by turning him into Mecha King Ghidorah. This film rules, by the way. Which brings us to the post-credit scene of Godzilla King of the Monsters. What if Jonah's plan is now to build his own Mecha King Ghidorah to do battle with Godzilla, and he's going to use the final remaining piece of Ghidorah to do so? And this could play into the final act of Godzilla vs. Kong, where the two have to set aside their fighting differences to team up to take down the much larger mechanical foe, effectively making Mecha King Ghidorah the film's villain, so you don't have to paint Godzilla or Kong as the bad guy. There is a slightly more plausible option, however. Earlier in the movie, Monarchs say that Jonah wants to use Titan DNA for nefarious means, so he could use the head of Ghidorah to get the DNA he needs to create a Titan of his own, not unlike 1989's Godzilla vs. Biollante. Or maybe he wants a Titan that he knows he can control, similar to Dr. Mifune in Terror of Mechagodzilla. It's pretty clear that Godzilla King of the Monsters director Mike Dougherty is a fan of the Godzilla franchise, with its various references to Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah and Godzilla vs. Destroyer. So could he be setting up a movie that references even more films from the franchise's incredible history? And I'll be honest, that last theory is more likely, but I really hope it's Mecha King Ghidorah. What do you think? Let us know in the comments down below. And be sure to check out other great content on ScreenStalker like Ollie Davis and myself giving our thoughts on Godzilla King of the Monsters and my review of Disney's latest live-action remake Aladdin. I've been Luke Owen. See you, Space Cowboys.